A little while ago, I had a chat with John over Out of This World Models and Minis. Out of This World Models and Minis is an absolutely fantastic YouTube channel across the Great Pond over in the States. Hi John, if you're watching this, often John comes and watches like a little bit of the show because of the time zone, but often watches it all back on replay. So hi John, hope you're doing well, mate. A little while ago we said that we support each other's shows so much, but we've never really done anything together or even really had much of a chat. So I said we need to collaborate, and my actual words were, why aren't we collaborating? And he's like, I was going to say the same thing, let's do something. So it was his decision to do something together for Orktober. So here we are for Orktober. He said, what mini should we do? And I said, let's do Ghazghkull. And he went, yeah! And I went, oh, what have I done? I've never even put paint on a single orc miniature, yet alone I'm not an orc player.
Okay, here it is. It is Orktober, and Danny from Easy 8 Online Painting Club and I, we are going to do a collaboration, build and paint. We just basically said, okay, I think I'm going to do it this style, and I'll do it this style, and yeah, and he asked me which orc I wanted to do the collaboration with, and I originally said just a Death Dread because I don't have an orc army. I don't play orcs, although they're really cool. And he said, well, how about Ghazghkull? Like, ooh, he's a pricey model, but what the hell? Sometimes you gotta go big, right? So, gonna get him started here. Gonna get some sub-assemblies. I'm looking at painting him in the as Grimdark as I can. I'm going to do a little extra weathering on the metallic pieces here, and yeah, let's get going. Start cutting some pieces off, gluing them together. I'm not going to show all the build up. I'm just going to come back here with the completed sub assemblies, and we'll start painting them. So, all right. Okay, so I did want to show a little bit of the build up here. I took a bullet grinder for my Dremel, and I just wanted to get some pock marks in the armor and on the claws, just to make him a little bit more, I don't know, a little bit more battle damaged. And there's the sculpt is fantastic. And I should have started this way back in July. There's just so much going on with him. The sub-assemblies have sub-assemblies, and it's just incredible how detailed this model is. You can see right there where I had actually I glued the tabard to him already. I go and I take that off because there's too much detail underneath just to let that go. So shortly after this, I actually just went in and took a hobby knife and pried that off of there. Alright, starting with the Stynorez Black Primer. Yeah, this was thinned down a little too much, so I ended up giving him a second coat. And then going a little bit of slap chop here, starting off with some Vallejo Model Color London Gray. I don't do a whole lot of slap chop, but I know Danny really wanted to focus on that technique, so I figured, why not? Let's try it out. And the worst that can happen is that I have to strip it and paint the whole thing over, but in the end, I'm really happy with how it turned out. Now, at the time of recording this, actually editing and processing it, we've already done the final reveal, and we did that in a previous video, so I'm going to go ahead and I'll leave a card somewhere in here, and get a chance to watch that after you watch this. But yeah, Danny's Ghazghkull came out fantastic. I love the way he did his claws. I love the way he did his painting. Said he had some issues with the oil wash, but you can't tell by looking at it. He's just a fantastic painter, and I really can't say enough good about him. Now, Citadel Contrast Play Bare Flesh. This was, I wasn't too happy with it originally, so what I did was after it dried, I gave it a second coat. But as you'll see, I'm actually missing a part of his head right by that robotic eye. After I got done with the project, I was like, why do I have these extra pieces on the sprue? Now, we purposely didn't paint up the little grot, the little Gretchen that came with it, but there was other pieces. I looked it up, and I was like, where is this supposed to go? Well, yeah, it goes on his eye, but idiot me forgot about it, so it's not a big deal. You can't even notice it. So, all right, Skeleton Horde Citadel contrast just for the trousers there. One of 2 coats, but with the contrast, you gotta let them dry because it will pull the paint off. So just go get in there and be careful around that little area where his skin is showing. Yeah, these contrast paints are fantastic if you plan on using the slap job method. It's something I don't really do a whole lot of, but it's not what I grew up on, so I had a good time with this one. Okay, going in with Citadel Contrast Black Templar. It's going to be for the armor. Ghazghkull Orktober is he's from the Goth clan, and they use a lot of black in their armor. So doing it this way with the using slap chop, the contrast paint is very transparent, so you get a chance to see a lot of that highlighting that you did underneath it. But it was a little too light for me, so I went ahead and put another coat on there. Then we've got our Blood Angels Red Citadel contrast. That came out really cool. I like the way that looks. And then I gotta get it on the underside of the inside of the claw as well. Because honestly, there is so much detail on this figure that I really wish that if I went back and did them again, I would almost paint every single part by itself before even assembling them. I mean, there's just a lot of things you can miss. Okay, so Danny prides himself on his hand-drawn checkers. I wasn't about to go through all that because I was running a little behind on this. I'm not going to tell anyone, but this was done pretty much the second and third week in October, just because of or Orktober, sorry, just because of my work schedule, and I had a couple other projects lined up for the month. But I just did some masking tape on there. Came out okay. I ended up cleaning up some of those checkers just with a brush, and yeah, I was pretty happy with it. Okay, going with some Seraphim Sepia Citadel Shade. Just want to start to get some rust on the business end of those claws, and there's the checkers on the back of it. I still love that Blood Angels Red contrast paint on that power claw there. It's really nice. So getting the Seraphim Sepia on the other side, and this is just the beginning of the multi-technique rusting that I do on these claws here, and I love the way it turned out at the end. Put this one in here just because I love the name, Ghazghkull. I have no idea. I understand where some of the names from Citadel Color come from playing some of the games, but Ghazghkull, it's got to go on an orc somewhere. So, all right, now we're going in with Citadel Air Lead Belcher. I've mixed this with some water to make it a kind of like a metallic wash. What I'm going to do is I flood the area, and then before it's able to dry, I go in there with a clean paper towel and wipe off everything that's on the surface. That's going to keep all the paint in the recesses, and it's going to give it a really good base for your eventual rust wash and eventual streaking grime. So yeah, I just did this on all the black areas. It still comes out as black. It doesn't look like iron or rust or old steel, but gives it more of a metallic look to it. Because honestly, with this model, I'm not too. I don't know. I think slap chop was probably the wrong way to go for me, just because I don't do it all the time. I'm just painting how I know how to paint, and yeah, in the end, I'm happy the way I did it. So. Okay, going in with these large tusks here, I'm using Citadel Screaming Skull. This was not one of my favorite parts on the model. Not really good at doing horns like this or tusks, whatever they are. But yeah, I started off with the Screaming Skull, and you'll see throughout the build process, if you take a look at these, they're going to change every so often, just because I was not happy with the end result. At the end of the project, I just stopped doing it and just went with what I had. Alright, Vallejo Game Color Brassy Brass. Not tinny tin, it's brassy brass. Going with some of those copper areas. Little corn red from Citadel on that little orc symbol there. And there's an animal skull in the distance. We're going to work on him a little bit here. But yeah, just going in and getting some of these smaller pieces done up. There's going to be a lot of things that you're not going to see because I end up doing a lot of streaking grime that covers up some of the real fine details. But a little bit more corn red on some of the highlights. Going over the blood red, or the Blood Angels red rather. There we go. Let's pop that on there just to see what it's going to look like. If it's in camera. Get the underside there. Now a little Nuln Oil Gloss, the old formula. Just put it on those cogwheels on the inside of his power claw. You'll see a little bit of that there, but a lot of it was underneath my viewfinder. There we go. Very cool. I'm going to pop the top on there, and you can still see some of the cogwheels through the gap there. All right, going back to those horns there. Yeah, I'm not a fan of them, and I'm glad this project is over just because I hate painting horns. My blends never turn out right on them, so that's just one of those things that I'm just gonna have to keep on working at until I'm better at it. Alright, for that skull, we're going to start off with a little bit of Citadel Steel Legion Drab. It's a greenish brown. Just wanted to get that as a good base before I start laying over some more colors on top of that. One of those is going to be Pallid Witch Flesh. Okay. I'm going for a nice dirty look on there. Mainly just a stipple all over it using a nasty brush. Yep, don't throw away your old brushes. You could always use them for something. I used to chop them off and use them for dry brushes years and years ago, because they'll be able to take care of you somehow. Go. And we're not done with him yet. Okay, now for a shade. Citadel shade, a Thonian camo shade. It's one of my favorites. I like to put this on all of my skulls and bones, and usually I'll do a little bit of mix of a Thonian camo shade and some Caribird Crimson. So we're just going to flood them all over the place. And that's going to accent the original color, that Steel Legion Drab. Give it a little bit of a greenish color. Nice. Okay, MIG Ammo Streaking Effects. Just gonna coat the whole thing. Now I didn't do like Danny did. Danny went ahead and covered his entire model and then had some issues with it. I'm just going part by part, and I'm letting him dry, and then just using some odorless white spirits or mineral spirits, going through and taking off the majority of what I just laid on top of the paint. That's going to keep everything in the recesses, just like that original metallic wash that I did. But this is going to give you the brown accents. There we go. And I had a little bit on the power claw too. Yeah, this is a technique that, I mean, I wish I was the guy that came up with Grimdark, because, I mean, it is amazing. I use it on almost everything I do for Warhammer 40,000. Just doing a little bit of cleanup here. Okay, then we're going to go back to the skull and doing a dry brush of Citadel Screaming Skull. That's going to give it that final highlight. And I think that's where we're going to call it done with that. Alright, now the AK Interactive Brown Wash. It's not streaking grime, it's a brown wash. Okay, so you're getting that brown wash all over all the areas on the backpack there. And then going in with the MIG Ammo Streaking Rust effects. Gonna get this on the power claws, on all sides of the power claws. And then gonna add a little bit to the armor as well. Because I figure, why not? It's you get the brown wash, it'll make a really good base for your rust. And then you get some rust effects on top of that. There you go. Just kind of blend them all together. And working it into that his machine gun array there. I got a nice little surprise in store for you for that weapon arm there pretty soon. All right, taking off some of the enamels there. This is where Danny said he had some problems. This is where he had the streaking grime, and as soon as he started wiping some of it away with that with the white spirits, his acrylics started coming off. So I think his initial idea was that he possibly went with the air paints from Vallejo, and thinks it might have been a little too thin. Maybe the white spirits got underneath it, but I've never had any issues with that. So, all right, going in and cleaning up that backpack a little bit. What you don't see is I'm going to add a little bit of Dirty Down Verdigris to the copper, and of course I end up using Dirty Down Rust, because why wouldn't I? Yeah, I just love the Grimdark style painting. It's been right up my alley since I first saw the first video on it. And I was actually debating about using. I've got some dark green streaking grime. I was thinking about using that on the skin just to kind of desaturate that a little bit, but I didn't. I ended up not using it. Alright, cleaning up that weapon arm. And then this is where I start having a lot of fun. I'm not taking all of it off, but I am just being very careful with how much I am removing. I want to keep some of it so you can have that as a good strong base to start adding more colors to. I want to start adding some oranges to it and just crusting it up a little bit. There we go, looking good. That's exactly how I wanted it to look too. Yeah, this is going to make him look like he's been in a lot of battles, and I really don't think orcs take care of their stuff too much. They might bolt on a few pieces of metal, but I don't think they really clean up their armor a lot. And I went a little bit further than I usually do with these. Normally I just wipe it off, but I went back a few times just to make sure that you could still see that black armor through the rust. But yeah, this was such a fun model to paint up and build. I would actually love to do another one in the future, because I got a few ideas of how I might do it a little bit differently. Okay, here it comes right now, the Dirty Down Rust. And we're just gonna shake it and shake it and shake it. And this is actually after it was on my vortex mixer. You need to shake this thing so much. Some painters swear that don't shake it, stir it instead. But I like to go like James Bond, shake it, not stirred. Alright, then we're just going to start adding some dirty down accents there. And while we're doing this, I'd like to invite you to subscribe to Out of This World Models and Minis. The channel is starting to pick up, which is fantastic. I'm having so much fun with it. I almost wish that I had started the channel maybe 2 years before I did, but I didn't, and I'm working at it, and I'm having such a fun time with it. I've got so many projects lined up for 2024 and more collaborations. And Danny over at Easy 8 Online Painting Club and I, we already decided that, you know what, this won't be the last collaboration that we do together. So I've got some ideas. I know he's into armor. I'm not really into a whole lot of armor because I'm more sci-fi, but there is sci-fi armor out there. So maybe we'll do something along the lines of some Horus Heresy tanks or some Warhammer 40,000 tanks. But in the meantime, give the video a like. Appreciate that. It's a simple gesture from you and it means the world to me. Gets the video out to more people and they get to see more of what I can do. But in the meantime, getting that dirty down. That's on there drying. And what I'm doing here is a little bit of Citadel Fire Dragon Bright. I decided that those machine guns must have been going so fast and producing so much heat that it started to heat up the metal, get it red hot. And also there's gears in there, so I wanted to do a little bit of heat reaction in there as well. There we go. Just a little bit of OSL on there. I had thought about this ever since I saw the little smoke effects that you can add onto the barrels. But yeah, just getting a nice little glow on there. And then you got the cover, which covers up all those little gears. So I actually broke mine in half on accident, so I had to glue it back together again, glue it onto the weapon, and just giving it that little bit of glow, because I figure if the gears underneath are so hot, they're probably heating the metal up on top as well. All right, Vallejo model color white. I'm just going to give it that light dusting to make it look like those red hot barrels are starting to cool down a little bit. And you're not going to see it, but in the end I actually give it a little bit more Fire Dragon Bright, because I think I went a little too white on there. And then cooling effect on the metal on top, and we're good to go with that one. Alright, Typhus Corrosion from Citadel. Normally a fantastic base to start making your rust effects on, but I went backwards. I decided to add some Typhus Corrosion to the metal after I rusted it, because it gives you that nice grit and it's going to give you that nice crusty feel and look to it. I don't use a whole lot, but what I do use, I'm glad I did. And this is one of those paints that you use a nasty brush with, because it will ruin your brushes, kids. Go get that grit in there. Some crusty rusty. Okay, finishing up now. I just got a few more details to put together. Gonna work on the hoses that go into his weapon arms here next. Just using some corn red as the base and using the Tamiya Panaline accent. Gives it a really nice effect. But we're finishing up here. I'm going to get a few things finished off camera. Getting ready for the final reveal. Like, comment, subscribe, share, enjoy. I'll put a link to the reveal that Danny and I did. And I hope to see you in the next video. Hey, check out the collaboration video on the left hand side, subscribe on the right, and we'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.